Well, hey folks, my name is Brad, and if you've been watching the channel for any period of time, you may also recognize my friend, Greg. We are once again on Greg's land up in the mountains of Vermont, digging an old dump that he discovered while he was pulling firewood out of here a couple years ago now. And this is our 7th trip, lucky number 7, to see if we can maybe find some old bottles from around the turn of the century. Let's get the shovels out, see what we can find.
Let's go.
Jumbo peanut butter.
Peanut butter?
Yeah, it's got an elephant on it.
Come on.
Or an elephant head.
Peanut butter with an elephant?
Yeah. Well, just a head.
Jumbo. The Frank Tea and Spice Co. Cincinnati. That's an awesome find. So Greg just got a bottle. Fly Tox. Something floating around in there. Was that brick? Brick fragments. And we just did a little bit of Googling on my phone, and apparently it is just as it sounds, a toxin for flies, a bug poison. The main ingredient is DDT, which I didn't know anything about. That's before my time, but you said they outlawed it.
Right, years ago. It's bad for birds' eggs.
Interesting. Well, luckily it's empty. The birds in your forest are safe for now.
Right.
That's pretty cool. Well, people had bug problems back then too, I guess. Well, we found a few hairbrushes here, combs. I don't believe we have found any toothbrushes yet. First one, I saw a piece of kind of white sticking out of the wall. You can clearly see here the bristles are long gone, but it's definitely a toothbrush. And look at this, Monarch. Sterilized, it says. Not anymore.
Long past that.
Yeah, I wonder what it's made out of. It feels plasticky, maybe like a Bakelite. Treasure? Well, I appear to have 2 bottles, I think. One here, which is a cobalt blue, and maybe one right here. Nope, this one's broken. Like an unmarked medicine. Hopefully this one is intact though. Yeah. What do you think? Is it going to be embossing? Peptin. Jersey City. And it still has, ooh, the screw top. Interesting. Well, by the pep, you think, you know, stomach issues, right? Yeah. Digestant, an effective means for the relief of disorders of the digestion. So that makes sense, just like Pepto-Bismol, I guess. Cool bottle though, really, really pretty. What'd you get? So bluing, as far as I understand it, is when folks would wear their white shirts, they'd turn yellow over time, and then you would mix some of this blue dye, and it would relieve some of that yellow color.
Back to white.
Right.
But
that's a nice little find with the top on there.
yeah.
Cool. Well, I don't know if it's broken or what it is. Seems to be square-ish. Oh, it's not broken. Looks like there's embossing too. Heinz Honey and Almond Cream. That's a cool find, one we haven't found before.
No.
Still have the screw top on there too. Now you even have a little bit of honey and almond cream still in there. Okay, well, excuse the sun. Despite it being the beginning of October, it's like 80 degrees today. Sun is shining. But Greg just called over and said, hey, I think I found a clay marble. And I think it is. Look at this, it kind of fell apart just a little bit in the ground. It's not perfectly round anymore, but for sure that's a clay marble. I've actually found some clay marbles before I even started this hobby. I was moving a cement stair at my old 1850s house, and I found a bunch of clay marbles. That's exactly what they looked like. Good eye. Ground, you know, dirt colored.
Exactly like this dirt.
Yeah. But I have a bottle maybe here. Yeah. Oh, weird. So there's no embossing, it doesn't look like, but it has these weird grooves. It is finger grooves. You grab right a hold of that and...
Hit that sucker.
Oh, there's writing on the bottom. Here we go. Patent applied for US. Well, that didn't really give us much information. Not as cool as your marble, though. So I've actually found 3 or 4 of these today. This is the only one that was complete. The others were all broken. Makes me wonder if maybe it was a set and they all broke except one, so they just threw them all away. And Greg and I were kind of on the fence about what exactly this was for. But we can see on the back, Hop Semi-Porcelain Johnson Bros. Land 2. This side is a pretty floral pattern. And there's little dimples, there's 4 little dimples on the edge. And because of those dimples, I was speculating it looked like a little ashtray, but I feel like the dimples would be more deeper. So was it for a teacup? Maybe one of you knows, let me know. Hop Semi-Porcelain Johnson Bro Land. So I can't believe it's not unbroken, unchipped. I'm gonna bring that home and put something in it, like clay marbles. Look at that pile of dirt behind me. First trip out of 7 where I brought a full-sized shovel. And I've been able to move 3 times as much earth today as previous days. You live and you learn. I just found a little bottle here, and when I first pulled it out, Greg and I were speculating, what the heck is this? Gly Thymoline. It's a small bottle too. If you didn't already know, this sounds like a crazy chemical. Gly Thymoline. But we just looked on our phone real quick, and apparently it's just mouthwash. It's a cleansing, mucus removing rinse. It's not very much though. So maybe it was like extra strong. You mix it with some water or something.
That's good for your liver.
It's probably good for your liver. Everything was. Yeah. And a diuretic.
And kidneys.
Well, we've definitely found these before here, but you were saying not this small, right? No. Emerson Drug Co. Bromo Seltzer. So, from what I understand, these are somewhat of a common find in dumps and privies, but they're such a pretty little blue bottle. It's a stomach ailment, right? It's always liver, kidney, or stomach. Or sometimes, right? But this isn't very much. This is like 2 swigs, bromide, something like that. Pretty blue bottle. Something good for a windowsill. I don't remember which trip it was now. We're on number 7. 2 or 3 or 4. We found a ton of beer bottles, probably the second trip. And most of them were from Troy, New York, which is quite a ways from here. But there was a huge brewing community there in Troy. They were almost all brown, I think. There might have been a couple green ones. I just found a clear blue. Fitzgerald Bros Brewing. Troy, New York. And I don't know if this was a beer or not. It's a little bit chipped on the bottom, but I think I'll probably bring this one home and replace the brown bottle. A little bit prettier, blue-green. Maybe a soda? They probably made other things, right?
Maybe, but...
Or root beer, or who knows? Somebody probably knows, not me. I found a little brown bottle here. Doesn't appear to be any embossing on it or anything. Came out of this wall, and I noticed right away it was still full of fluid. And I looked at the top, seems to be a little bit broken here. Look. It's a dropper. Still has pretty good seal on there too, so it wouldn't surprise me one bit if the stuff that's in there is original. It smells like water. Probably groundwater. That's pretty cool. Little eyedropper. I suspect there would have been a little rubber squeezer on top. And probably opium.
Oh, yeah.
Right? I mean,
Yeah.
Everything was back then. So, all along, all 7 trips, we've kind of been speculating, and we can judge pretty well based on what's in this dump, how old the dump is. And we found things back from the 1880s, 1890s bottles.
Right.
Probably we were thinking around like 1920s, 1930s is when they stopped dumping here. But I just found 2 things with dates on them. The first is actually a Vermont license plate. X1, looks like 774. And I actually sent a text message to one of my friends who collects antique Vermont license plates. I said, hey, how can you tell how old these things are? And he texted back and he said, well, there's a date on them. So, okay, well, that's pretty easy. Hopefully you can see right here, 1929. So that's pretty cool. But then, just now, I found this little, I don't know, tin tag. 1477. 1477. That's an old, just kidding. 9/27/41. Then it says course at the bottom, and we were kind of speculating about what that could mean. For some reason I feel like it was stuck on some wood, but it could have been some kind of flour or coffee or something. What would you get ground coarse?
I don't know. It's a big slate area, so maybe it
Slate?
was crushed slate.
We've been finding a lot of slate in this dump. Big export for this part of Vermont, slate. So anyway, 1941, and what did we say, 1929? So at least 1940s. And we were also trying to figure out where's the oldest stuff coming from, where's the newest stuff coming from out of this dump. And I think it's just all kind of spread out, because we were finding some of the oldest stuff right next to where I found this tag, 1890s, right next to 1940s. So we weren't able to figure it out, but we're having fun. Well, one kind of bottle that we have found a ton of here that I never would have really thought about or imagined we would find is salad dressing bottles. They must have had very bland salad back then, because we found a ton of them. But none of them quite like this. Look at this. Slade's salad cream. Screw top jar, but it kind of has this, I think it's like a faux cut glass down at the bottom. What a pretty bottle. Jar. Salad dressing. Wild, never seen one like that before. We might have a complete milk bottle here, which I would love to find one with kind of a local dairy on there. And it looks like we have a complete cobalt ink jar. Oof. With liquid in it. Stuck my finger right in there. 77. No text, but that's definitely an ink jar. Should fine. What do you think? Is this going to be broken? I see embossing on it. Oh, it is broken. Bordens.
Another one.
Yep.
Smaller
Smaller
one too.
Smaller Bordens.
Does it have eagle on it too?
No, no eagle. Broken. That's all right. There's got to be more in here. That would have been a great find. We happened to find a lot of kind of the same bottles. The ongoing joke is the Foss fruit extract bottles. Dozens. 30 of them, 40 of them. Every time we find another one, we toss it in the pile. But we're still finding new things, and this is another new thing. Fortunately, the bottle is cracked all up, but it's a Frostilla from Elmira, New York. fragrant lotion. Well, that's pretty cool. Too bad it's cracked, but I'm sure there's more of them in here. And another one, another new one to the pile today. Frostilla. It sounds very fancy. Smell very good. What a day. We're both very tired from all of the digging we have done today. The extra long shovels made a big difference.
It helped a lot.
Moved a lot of dirt today. I don't know if you can see the pile. Great day though. Lots of things that we had never found before, a lot of the same also. And since this is more than likely the last trip here for this year, I'd say we did pretty well. We tried our hardest, dug the biggest holes possible, and we found some pretty cool stuff. Let's take a look at it all. And here we have the haul. We've got a couple Fitzgerald beer bottles, but they are clearish aqua, which I don't think we've found before. We've got a mustard, rye whiskey. This is the crazy one with the dimples in the side. Milk of magnesia. We've got a cobalt ink jar, Vaseline, eyedropper bottle, your amazing peanut butter elephant. Yep. What is it with elephants and peanuts? Do they love peanuts that much?
I guess so.
We have another Father John's. We found, I don't know, 3 or 4 of those here. It's not that old, but I think it might be one of my favorites I found today. This is the honey and almond cream. License plate and the little mystery tag, the course tag. Both dated. Great day. Great big pile of dirt we moved today. All right, folks. Thanks again to you for watching, and also Greg for trip number 7.
Glad you made it back up.
Digging up in his forest, on his land, at this crazy old bottle dump he just discovered by accident. And we've done a pretty good job digging it up, I'd say.
Yeah, we did.
There might still be some left to find, maybe next year.
Yeah, not 13 acres. There's stuff laying around.
Maybe some metal detecting, who knows?
Yep.
All right, folks, thanks again for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and hopefully we'll see you next week for another new adventure somewhere up here in the mountains of Vermont.